welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Mind Management, or Mind MGMT, by Jay Cormier and Sen Foong Lim. I think I got that right. Hope I didn't botch it. And published by Off the Page Games. This is a hidden movement game for 1 to 5 players that's based off the graphic novel. I have never heard of the graphic novel until I seen this game. So let me show you really quick a brief overview of how to play it, and then I'm going to let you know what I think about it. Okay, like I stated before, I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible, give you a quick overview of this game. So, in this game, you're trying to recruit as many people as possible. If you play as a recruiter, these are going to be the recruits that you're trying to recruit. I'll explain how to recruit them later. As a recruiter, you're going to have this board right here, which is basically just the map of up here. The other players, which are the rogue agents, they're going to select one of these guys. So you have green, red, pink, and yellow. They each have special abilities, and you're going to choose one of these two to be the recruiter. Again, I'll go over it later what they do. Now, at the beginning of the game, these mayhem tokens are going to be placed anywhere on the board. You're going to mark them on your board. Pretty much, you can't move through this space, through spaces that have these tokens, and so can't the rogue agents. There are people with special powers. Again, I'll leave that for you to decide if you buy this game. There's a lot more content in the deluxe edition. Also, we have here these step tokens. I'll explain what they do later. And mind slip tokens. So, the goal of this game is to, again, get all the recruits or make it towards past round 16. If you make it to round 16, you can win the game. The rogue agents, obviously, they have to capture you, which is one of their abilities, which I'll show later. But on the recruiter's first turn of the game, as you can see here, they have 4 turns. So before any of that happens, they're gonna secretly place themselves somewhere on this map. So when you're gonna mark it with 1, then you're gonna draw 3 of these cards. I have them already drawn here. We have a palm tree, the sign, and I call it the tiki head. They're gonna be around this map here. So what the recruiter is trying to do is they're trying to move through spaces with those symbols. Anytime they do that, they recruit somebody. On the first turn, anytime you see this red symbol here, that means you have to show how many people you have recruited so far. So for example, I have the tiki head here, the head and the sign and the palm tree. So I have here marked 1, 2, 3, 4. Those were my first moves. So as you can see, the tiki head right here, I recruited 1 person. So I would take one of these recruit tokens here and place them right next to the round sign there. After that, it's going to be the rogue agent's turn. Now, only 2 rogue agents will move for this turn. And they have all these abilities here. They have an ally, right? With the base game, this is the only ally you can get. Different modules, there's more in the box. One thing they can do is, actually, let me go through, ask first. So one of the abilities that they can do is choose a feature in your location. Features, again, are those symbols here, like the tiki head, the book, the pool. And you have to let them know if you've been to any of those locations. So you would take one of these for tokens, and it doesn't have to be someplace that you're currently at. You could have been at this book, so let's say at round 5, and it's currently round 12. So you could put a step token here, just to show that you were there at one point. Another thing that they can do is reveal, and you would take these tokens here, and you would put the time that you were on that location on the board here. So let's say if I was there, if they asked if I was there, let's just make believe I had a step token there. You would take one of these, put 5 on it to symbolize that you were on round 5, and you would put it right there on the board. Another thing that they can do is capture you. Obviously, that's the goal of the game. If they're in the location of the recruiter, then they can win the game. Win the game. Another thing here is shakedown. Now, on the board, you're going to see these black figures here. Those are immortals. They are going to get in the way of the rogue agents. So they can't capture, they can't use certain abilities when they're in the same space as a immortal. So one of the things that you can do is move the immortals anytime during your turn. Move them around the board. Excuse me. And those are pretty much there to get in the way of the rogue agents. They're going to be very important for the recruiter for winning the game. You have to excuse me, my dog is playing with a toy. That's why you're hearing all that squeaking. So I forgive you guys in advance. Forgive me in advance for all that noise. This is only until I get my studio going. So another thing here is the step token. One of these step tokens here. So the recruiter is going to have one at the beginning of the game. The second one is going to be placed on the board from the rogue agents that you have to get later on. So, like I showed before, you're going to have one of these two characters to pick from. And let's say, for example, Carl Box here. When you use that token, you can move two spaces anyway, orthogonally. And you can move through Mayhem and locations you visited. Another thing a recruiter cannot do is they cannot go back to the same location that they have visited. But with the slip token, they have that ability to move past it. Trying to see what else I was trying to show. Oh, and that's another thing, shakedown ability. So the rogue agents also have the shakedown ability, which may only be used if an immortal is present. So you can choose any feature on the board. Like I said, the features again are like the book, the pool, and you have to be in the space with an immortal. If they guess that feature correct, so let's say one of my features is the palm tree here, I have to discard this card and I can no longer recruit at that location. Then I'll have no choice but to draw another one, and then there will be another location, another feature that I will be going after. That's pretty much the basic rules of the game. Again, you have to get all the recruits here, or make it to round 16. Another thing I wanted to show, I don't know if this is in the base game. This is the deluxe edition that I'm showing you, but in here, again, it's gonna be really brief. There are a bunch of modules for this game, which adds more immortals, more rogue agents, more different powers. It adds a lot to this game. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone if you plan on getting this game. So that is what I just showed you, is just basic stuff. That's pretty much the game. If I missed anything, I'm sorry, but let me get back to what I think about it. So before I get into this review, I want to go into how I got into this hobby. About maybe 6 years ago, again, I wasn't into board games or anything. I was at a board game cafe with a few friends. I think we were playing code names or something. I forgot. But I saw this game called Last Friday on the shelf. I didn't know anything about it. It just looked something like out of Friday the 13th, which I happen to be a huge fan about. Sat on my shelf for years. I got into this hobby around maybe 2018, 2019, and one of the first games I got was Letters from Whitechapel, which also happens to be a hidden movement game. I enjoyed that game a lot. It all started from there. About 2020, during the pandemic, I actually finally got Last Friday off the shelf, and it's probably one of the worst hidden movement games or games I've ever played. Sad story. But, I've always had a soft spot for hidden movement because it's what got me into this hobby. I played this game and I enjoyed it a ton. I think it's one of the best hidden movement games out there. I think it's one of the best games out there. It's a really easy game to teach. The rule book can use it's a little convoluted. There's stuff. The rules are all over the place, but I love all the different modules that you can add to it. The game does play pretty quick. If you're playing with people with AP, it could possibly go past 60 minutes. The turns are quick. I love all the powers that they can have. Again, if you play with the modules, there's a lot more content in this game. I know they just released an expansion that's coming out in a few months or so. There was another Kickstarter for it. But again, I don't know anything about the graphic novel. I don't know how it fits thematically. But again, I don't think you have to be a fan of it to enjoy this game. If you love hidden movement games, I think you're going to enjoy this game a lot. I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10, which is a seal of merit. This is gonna be the first game that actually from my channel gets that seal. So any game that's 9 and above is gonna be getting a seal of merit. Anything from 7 to 8.5 is gonna be getting a seal of recommendation from me. So I do highly recommend you pick this game up, especially like I stated before, if you're a fan of hidden movement games. But I will say though, I do enjoy this game at 5 players the most. I do think 1 versus 1 is not as enjoyable because everybody has to control 4 characters. I do feel it's more tense when you got 5 people playing there. But other than that, like, you can't go wrong with it. It does play quick. Definitely no more than 60 minutes. The longest I think a game went was probably maybe 75 minutes playing with a group of, and I've only played with 5. I can't see playing with 2. But yeah, that's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. Have a great night. Keep on playing, guys.